When Shikamaru Nara began working on the Kakashi as Hokage, most of the time he spent time working under the 6th Hokage in his office, with the occasional mission being given to him. However, as Naruto began to move closer to actually becoming the Hokage, the amount of missions that Shikamaru was given had been cut back over time, with eventually the missions coming to a close altogether. The future right-hand man of the Hokage, who also happened to be a Hokage candidate himself, evidenced by his placement on the Shinobi Union, Shikamaru needed to not only learn the inner workings of the village and geopolitics, but he also needed to learn the Hokage's position as well, knowing it as well, if not better, than the current Hokage. However, in Boruto's era, during the time just after the Chunin exams, Shikamaru has just returned home from his first real mission in over 10 years, except it wasn't an official mission on the books, but the amount of foreshadowing that takes place during that actual mission ties into his son Shikadai's future. Like previously stated in the previous installments of the Shikamaru Shinden series, Shikamaru Shinden, Mourning Clouds, a Naruto light novel set in the Boruto era, with the prologue in the first chapter of the novel being set just after the Momoshiki arc, and everything afterwards takes place in the before and during of the Mujina Bandits arc. It's in the aftermath of the 5 Kage summit that takes place. As a reminder, just after Momoshiki's invasion, Shikamaru assembled the same team that he took with him to the Land of Silence, and their mission was to enter into the Land of Earth. During the next few days, Shikamaru served as cover for the team, essentially their distraction, as he being a Kage candidate and aide to the Hokage. Shikamaru drew all the attention from the ninja from the village. Shikamaru drew all the attention from the ninja from the stone village, as well as the Tsuchikage, which ultimately caused a confrontation between Shikamaru versus the Tsuchikage. With all eyes on Shikamaru, the 2 ninja, Ro and Hinoko, were able to actually sneak into the Land of Earth. After playing shogi with Inoki, Shikamaru was warned by the former Kage that shinobi would still be shinobi, even during times of peace. It was a coded warning to Shikamaru that Shikamaru did not miss. In the couple weeks after Shikamaru's trip to the Land of Earth, Shikamaru found himself in yet another situation at hand. What he'd done under normal circumstances would have been considered an S-rank mission, since getting caught would have been grounds for war between the 2 nations. However, Shikamaru's own son was now caught in the crosshairs. When he first arrived home, Shikamaru was approached by Moegi, Shikadai's team captain, with news that the team was offered an S-rank mission, which baffled her, due to the team struggling with completing the influx of B and A rank missions that were given to them post-Chunin exams for Shikadai, which proudly caused Shikamaru to recall how his son had defeated Yodo during the Chunin exams, with Yodo being one of Gaara's prized sand ninja. However, when Shikamaru looks into the request a week later, after being told about it, he learns that the nature of Shikadai's mission had been politically charged, and his son was smart enough to see through the deception. However, that brings a bit of tension between father and son. With the scene and context being set, it's here I'm going to begin quoting, and it's here I quote. Shikamaru turned his head to look into the living room. At some point, Tamari had come to sit in there and wait on him. She stared into her tea with a strange look on her face. Shikamaru spun on his bottom to face her through the door. "And where is he?" Shikamaru asked. "He left early this morning. He said he was going to go hang out with Boruto and his friends," Tamari replied. Despite his duties as a ninja, Shikadai was still a child. He was of the age where if he had been a non-ninja child of the village, he would have been leading an easy life, playing with his friends every day. About that mission, he refused, Tamari said. "So it is about that," Shikamaru thought. He sat up straighter and waited for Tamari to continue. Face still turned to her teacup. His wife raised her eyes slowly to Shikamaru and began to speak very slowly. "I guess what the client really wanted was to get closer to you. They were trying to build a relationship with you, the Hokage's advisor. So they requested Shikadai's team take on the mission. And then Shikadai got wind of this, so..." Tamari stopped. "So what?" Shikamaru asked. Tamari's words pierced his heart. He couldn't believe his own position would have an impact on Shikadai's work. He would be lying if he said the idea had never crossed his mind. But he sternly told people of Konoha on a daily basis that they were not to give his son any special treatment. He hadn't even dreamed that someone from another village would use Shikadai to get close to him. So then, just Who was his client? Shikamaru asked. Tamari shook her head. Shikadai doesn't know. He just said it's some VIP from a small country, Tamari said. There were any number of smaller nations that would try to leverage the power of a large country like the Land of Fire. There was no doubt that this client had some type of ulterior motive. Is that why he didn't tell me? Shikamaru asked. Without knowing it, he had hurt his son. Shikamaru lowered his head. Shikamaru may not have made the mistake himself, but his own existence had put an obstacle on Shikadai's ninja path. Damn it, Shikamaru cursed. Don't blame him, Tamari said. I know, he said, his heart heavy. Tamari turned her eyes toward the garden. We have a visitor. End quote. So the visitor in this case is going to be Hinoko, who's going to be reporting in to Shikamaru about the information that she found in the Land of Earth. Now, what I really like about right here is the fact that Shikamaru, with the help of Tamari, realizes that his status in the village had actually become a bit of a deterrent to his son Shikadai when it comes to Shikadai carving out his own ninja path. And the reason why this is so huge is this. So for a ninja, being assigned an S-rank mission is a really major thing. Like S-rank missions, especially in the Boruto era, because of how Naruto's restructured everything, which I've covered in another video, talking about why Naruto's on path to be the greatest Hokage ever. S-rank missions typically don't go to Genin. In this case, Shikadai, even though he did as well as he did during the tuning exams, he would not be given this mission. Those are typically reserved for only Jonin. And this is the thing about that. So usually when a ninja gets those missions, it shows a level of earned respect, not just from the village officials like Shikamaru, but also the clients that make requests for shinobis on those missions. It means that the trials and tribulations that the individual ninja paid are finally bearing fruit. However, coming fresh off his performance at the tuning exams, Shikadai found himself being courted for completely different reasons. So, a feudal lord from another country, a smaller country, had requested him for this mission merely as an attempt to earn favor with Shikamaru so as to potentially influence the Hokage in future dealings with the nation. As a reminder, it's not just the 5 great nations that have feudal lords. There are daimyo in all of the countries, but the 5 great nations are the richest and they're the most powerful, and they have the military might to throw their weight around, which is going to be very important going forward in this novel. It makes a lot of sense wanting to earn favor with Konoha. However, what's important here is that Shikamaru finally understands why Shikadai briefly hit him with the cold shoulder when Shikamaru pressed him on this matter, asking why he turned down the mission, and Shikadai rightfully did not say anything to his father. Shikadai channeled his mother Tamari in that moment, giving Shikamaru a glare and a tone that made him leave the matter alone. But also by leaving so early in the morning in order to avoid his father, Shikadai also showed his father how uncomfortable the conversation made him, even a full week later after Shikadai is approached by Shikamaru about that mission. Too often in Boruto, we see the dynamic between Naruto and Boruto and how being the Hokage's son affects Boruto. However, Shikadai and Shikamaru having a similar conflict is one that I really enjoy here, and it's for a few different reasons. Shikadai obviously handled the situation a lot better than Boruto ever did when it comes to having pressure of being the child of an important person, but the pressure is still there nonetheless. His father is the Hokage candidate and next in line to be the Hokage, and he's the advisor to the Hokage. His uncle is the Kazekage. Expectations are nothing new for Shikadai, but up until that point, he'd always been judged on his own merit, not by what his bloodline was, which was something that Shikamaru made sure that people in Konoha did for Shikadai. I like the fact that Shikamaru felt angry at the fact that his position was being used against his son, and how he connects Shikadai avoiding him for nearly 2 weeks as a sign of his son's own frustration at that situation. I can see why Shikadai felt that way. He performed very well at the tuning exam, and he was making his own way forward. He was standing on his own merit, but all thanks to this, it set him back some because he realized that there are some who will use him merely for who his namesake is. However, that's gonna be it for this installment of Shikamaru Shinden Mourning Clouds. My question for you guys is, how do you feel, one, about Inoki's words that ninja will always be ninja even during a time of peace, and number 2, how do you feel about the young Shikadai being observant enough to realize, even without even meeting the client, that he was only offered the S-rank mission because of who his father was? Let me know how you feel about that down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.